I'm just outside Neyland Stadium here with Dog Nation. I'm Brandon Adams and happy to have you as we get ready to watch Georgia and Tennessee coming up at 3:30 in just a few minutes. The Dogs against the Vols in a pivotal road test for Georgia, arguably the final regular season test that Georgia's expected to face, with Charleston Southern and then Georgia Tech ready to close things out in a hostile environment today against a Tennessee team that's been, let's say, more good than bad. Certainly explosive offensively, with maybe the occasional issue defensively. Obviously, for a lot of Vols fans, this is maybe the final chance to fill Neyland Stadium and be an impactful crowd today. So a lot of intrigue as to exactly what's going to unfold with these two teams a little bit later on. Traditional rivals. Go back to the 1990s. Tennessee had control of this series, and then at the turn of the century, things really shifted towards UGA. And since then, they've waged certainly some memorable games. Of course, for a lot of Georgia fans, their memories of Neyland Stadium includes the rotten turf that's fallen many a Georgia player via the injury, but certainly we'll hope that's not the case here today. Instead, what Georgia fans are hoping for is another chance to validate itself as the #1 team in the country, another chance to go out there and show something big against Tennessee here today.
Let's go!
You see, Vols fans are certainly ready for the game coming up. We're also going to show you what happened with the dog walk here a little earlier. In fact, we'll go ahead and get ready to roll that video right now. Getting ready to see that. Gathered around the entrance here at Neyland Stadium just to my left a moment ago. You'll see the players walking through, and you'll certainly see the typical fashion choices, and always very impressive there. Something else that might be pretty impressive to you also is a face that you'll recognize, maybe one that I didn't expect to see today, but is here nonetheless. That's wide receiver Dominic Blaylock. Now, no indication of exactly what that means for Blaylock, but obviously in typical situations for a guy like Dominic, who, you know, Kirby Smart told us this past week, has been practicing, has been doing some things that travel. Doesn't mean he's wearing a uniform, keeping in mind that when George Pickens traveled to Auburn, obviously he was not ready to do that as of yet. And same thing for the Florida game a couple weeks before that there as well. Not quite ready to do those things. But Blaylock is here today. You'll see that with the dog walk as they come rolling by. You get a shot and a chance to see the big Jordan Davis. It's always great to see Davis when he arrives there, because on a team filled with big guys, on a team filled with guys who seemingly have the ability to block out the sun, obviously no one really stands taller than Jordan Davis. You'll notice that as the dog walk is streaming by. You should also know this is pre-recorded, so what you're seeing on your screen, I'm not saying myself. So you're seeing a lot of these things, and you'll watch that as it unfolds. A chance to see Georgia arriving a moment ago, and quite the intense look on the faces of so many players. Of course, Kirby Smart leading the team, as he typically does, getting ready for what's going to happen inside Neyland Stadium here in just a little bit. The Dogs against the Vols. You remember the last time that Georgia was here, getting the big win against Tennessee. Of course, the Eric Stokes big hit on the quarterback that leads to the scoop and score touchdown, and the huge celebration after the game. We talked about this on Dog Nation Daily yesterday. Jake Fromm singing Rocky Top in the Georgia locker room. Kirby Smart jumping into the stands with his family there at the end of the game that night. Folks having a good time there celebrating that win, and obviously for Georgia fans, they hope to get a chance to do the same thing here again today. Also remind you of this, it's our Kroger kickoff pregame show here, and a big thanks to Kroger for making it all possible. Of course, you can find Kroger really all over the place, and when you go to Kroger, you're going to be able to find everything you need to get stocked up for the very best things you need for Thanksgiving. Obviously, it's not too soon to start thinking about that, not too soon to start doing that today, and at Kroger, you get a chance to do just that. So the turkey and the dressing and all the stuff that goes there along the sides, obviously a chance to get stocked up for that and get ready to go at your local Kroger. Stop by and see them today. They got great savings to make your money go further here this holiday season, so trust Kroger and all of that. I'll also tell you that after the game today, we'll be on the field for our Dog Nation postgame show presented by the UGA Bookstore. We'll look forward to talking to you about what we hope is a Georgia win here inside Neyland Stadium in just a bit. And we'll take a couple of your comments here there as well before we get ready to wrap things up here today. And hopefully you are enjoying a game day wherever you are. You can see I've got a number of layers on. Coat, I've got pullover, I've got shirt on underneath that, and then an undershirt on underneath that. More layers than I typically wear. It's already pretty cool. If you're standing in the sun, it doesn't feel too bad. But temperatures could be down into the 30s by the time this game is over with. Maybe not the kind of cold that necessarily impacts the play of the game or impacts the final score or the result, but we're a lot farther north here than Athens, Georgia, and for a lot of these players, this may be the coldest football game they've ever played in. And you know, I remember when it was first announced that Georgia was going to be going to Tennessee on a regular basis in November, every other year, of course, that was really the first thing that came to my mind, was that you were really introducing weather into the picture just late in the year this far north, it can get a little bit cold, and so today is certainly an example of that. A few more of your comments here as, of course, the dog walks streamed by there on your screen. Ryan Benson says we just got to win, baby. So Ryan's already getting fired up and ready to go, and Ryan, I appreciate that. Mike Gay having some fun over here there as well. You'd love to see that. Marcus Chafin says, go Dogs, stay warm, y'all. The Georgia fans indeed trying to do that, trying to stay warm here today. Already seen many Georgia fans, and they've all got their own various layers here, trying to take advantage of whatever they can to keep themselves warm. And I was joking with somebody a little earlier. It's almost like I've got too many layers to sit in the press box, but you hope by the end of the game you have enough layers once you're back outside again for the post-game show, and that's just kind of the way it goes this time of year. Melinda Moe says she feels like the Dogs' defense has been a little bit disrespected. She says, watch out, this could be a reckoning. Well, I mean, there have been some people, and even admittedly myself, who've said, hey, I think that the Tennessee offense poses a different kind of challenge than what we've seen Georgia face for most of the season up to this point in time. It wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee did have at least some success today, maybe more success than we're used to seeing teams have against Georgia defensively. So to go back to Melinda's point here, it could be that one of the people they have a reckoning against is me. Maybe on Monday, when I go back to Dog Nation Daily, maybe I'm going to be forced to say, oh, I didn't give Georgia's defense enough credit. As hard as that is to maybe believe, if Georgia comes in here today, if they dominate Tennessee on the road in a hostile environment, much the same way they've been dominating opponents all season long, to me that sends a real message about where Georgia stands as truly head and shoulders above all the other would-be national championship contenders. I think that is quite fair to be able to say. Let's get some more of your comments now here on YouTube, and we'll get ready to let you go in there and watch some Georgia-Tennessee after that. Of course, hope everybody's having a great time today and getting ready for all the fun. See if my cell signal is going to cooperate here. It cooperated well enough, at least earlier, to send the Dog Nation dog walk video. So hopefully it'll cooperate with everything else there as well, including right now here on YouTube. Yeah, there we go. We're live here on YouTube. Alan V. Troll Patrol checks in. I don't know what that even is. Is Shelton Tucker on YouTube right now? How about that? So T-Bone checking in to say, go Dogs, don't let them balls get in your head. And obviously for this Georgia team, it is a chance to kind of be in a little bit more unfriendly confines than we're used to seeing them be. They faced that at Auburn earlier this year. They passed that test with flying colors. Jordan-Hare Stadium may be the toughest road environment that Georgia can travel to in the SEC, but they showed no ill effects of that day. Auburn did get out to an early lead. I don't necessarily credit the crowd for the reason why that happened. If anything, the way that Georgia responded after that was quite telling. So, from that standpoint, it certainly seemed like Georgia handled that well, and another chance to handle this environment here today, possibly a final tune-up with just 2 weeks remaining before the SEC championship game. This could be a final tune-up to see exactly where Georgia stands as you head towards all of this. Shelton Tucker, I'm assuming this is the Shelton Tucker migrating over to YouTube. He says Tennessee won't even score today, so he's feeling pretty good about the game all the way around. Daniel Aldridge also points out that Lane Kiffin did pick a Tennessee upset of Georgia today. Of course, Kiffin's always going to play up his fans in Knoxville. Obviously, a lot of folks here in Knoxville still like Lane Kiffin very much, and Kiffin enjoys giving a wink in their direction when he can. He was the guest picker on game today, if you're not quite aware of that. I don't know if that means they tried to get somebody else in Oxford and couldn't get somebody else to get there in time. No Katy Perry sightings, I guess, this time, reminiscent of what happened the last time game day was at Ole Miss back in 2014. But Kiffin did stay on the set to be a guest picker. You don't very frequently see coaches pick other games, but Kiffin did make some picks today and did go against Georgia there. So I know that Kirby Smart's talked about this before, there's a little bit of back and forth that goes on with a lot of these coaches. A lot of guys that used to work with each other around the Nick Saban program. So I'm guessing there's already been some text message exchanged back and forth between Smart and Kiffin and a few of the others in relationship to that. But Lane Kiffin did pick Tennessee to pull the upset here today. Oh yeah, thank you. Michael Carvel reminds me of this. I apologize. I got so busy working. We've already, down there a moment ago, and y'all can tell I'm in work mode. I'm not thinking about everything that's going on. Down there on the entrance ramp a moment ago when the Georgia players came in, so many Georgia fans, we were gathering, we were celebrating the performance of Samford today against Florida. I was so busy trying to get us on the air here and do this, I hadn't brought that up yet. But that's the kind of thing that Georgia fans and Tennessee fans can come together on today and say they enjoy. But obviously nobody enjoys that more than me. What is the current score right now? 42-35 at halftime between Florida and Samford. Can you believe that the Bulldogs, by the way, if you're Florida, you can't get away from these Bulldogs right now. The Samford Bulldogs go into Gainesville, put 42 points up in the first half. Am I saying that correctly? That is really remarkable. We've been laughing about this, having a good time about that. I tweeted about it a little bit. I mean, it's the kind of thing that you got to think could cost Dan Mullen his job here today. We have seen stranger things happen than that, but for a Florida coach that tried to save himself by basically scapegoating Todd Grantham and scapegoating his offensive line coach, John Hevesy, there may be no one left to scapegoat here today. This could be truly the remnants of a broken program. So certainly I apologize for not bringing that up sooner. You could say I should have led with that, because around here there's nobody that enjoys the Florida losses more than us. And see Florida right now losing to not Stanford with a T and an N, but Samford. Not Sanford Stadium or Stanford in the Pac-12, but Samford. Not Sam Ford, but Samford. That's who's beating Florida right now. And listen, we won't get tired of that anytime soon. I can truly tell you that for sure. All right, a couple more comments. We'll get ready to wrap things up here a little bit. Guatemala Mike checking in with the JT to NYC. Appreciate that. Chase Spitzer having some fun with this. He says that Dan Mullen's turning out to be Georgia's best recruiter. Obviously, by comparison, you may be right about that. Sea Salter Lamb says Florida's quit on the clown. They may very well have done that. Michael Porter gives you a lousy stinking Gators. Love to see that. Wayne Folan predicts a 42-7 Dawgs win. What was it in 2017? Was that 41-0? Is that what that was in 2017? So a little bit of a callback to a similar score from 2017. Obviously, much like 2017 when Tennessee wore its smoky gray uniforms. They are also bringing back alternate jerseys today wearing the black uniforms. I saw Scott Cochran walking in with Georgia a moment ago. I almost wanted to do like the cable news type thing and like put the microphone in front of his face and say, Coach, did you reprise your funeral speech about the black uniforms like we did back in 2008? I'm going to try to stand back here a little bit. The sun's kind of gone underneath the building here, so I'm kind of in the shadows here a little bit. The sun's kind of moving on me here a little bit, but we're about to wrap up anyway. The point here is certainly that was a fun thing to think about Scott Cochran potentially having that impact in the game, much the same way he would have on the other side of things when Alabama played Georgia in 2008. Marshall Fleming says 42 points in one half against Florida, the most ever given up in a half by a Florida team. How about that? This is moving in the territory of like Georgia Southern beating Florida range, and if Sanford keeps this up, I think you can arguably say it's going to end up being even more embarrassing than that was back then. So quite a day, obviously a lot of scores. We're going to be watching all of that. The main thing we're going to be watching is I'm now completely dark. The sun was like shining right on me a moment ago. Now it's moved completely behind the building, and it looks like I'm totally dark here. But the point is that it's going to be a big game here in Neyland Stadium. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be covering around Dog Nation all throughout the game, and then on the field after the game for our Dog Nation postgame show presented by the UGA Bookstore. We'll react to what we hope is a big Georgia victory. We'll talk about the other games that are going on around college football here today, and we'll try to have as much fun as we possibly can. So settle in. Go to Kroger, get stocked up for all your pregame party and your tailgating needs. If you're in Knoxville, try to come find me and say hello. Maybe we'll celebrate down there on the Tennessee River after this game is done. I'll see you on the field, on the video channels for the Dog Nation postgame show after the fact, presented by the UGA Bookstore. Also, if you just joined us late, go back and rewatch the beginning of the video. Really cool dog walk today. Bunch of Georgia fans gathered in here, coming by. You get a chance to see that. And Dominic Blaylock's presence, that was a little bit of a surprise. You can check that out there as well. So thanks for being here for our Kroger kickoff. We will look forward to talking to you again after the game right here on the Dog Nation video channels. Have a great day, everybody.